Hi friends, welcome back. Welcome to Living on the Edge. Very happy to see you all here. We are exploring today celebrity silhouette. And I'm staying this time on celebrity silhouette in a category that I actually never had a chance to explore before, and I was really excited about. This is the Sunset Corner Sky Suite. I'm very excited about this room because I never had the chance to stay in one of those sunset ones facing back, but not only that, the layout of this room is very, very different than most of other Sky Suite on board this vessel. So of course we'll explore this beautiful room. I'll show you everything about it, everything you need to know, things you probably should keep in mind when booking this one. And at the end of this video, we're definitely going to talk about how this week went for me, what I think about the ship, how do I feel about this room, amenities that comes with it, and much, much, much more. This cruise is going to be to Bermuda, which is actually one of my favorite destinations. The ship docks for several nights in Bermuda. So this is very, very exciting. This is something that I made for myself, kind of like a birthday cruise. So it's very, very exciting. So of course, as always, grab something nice to snack, maybe a drink. Let's begin. Welcome home, friends. We are in the beautiful Sunset Sky Suite. As you can see, this is a little bit different layout from the usual Sky Suites on board those ships. Let me first of all walk around and just see you everything, and then of course we'll explore as always everything, but I will just show you the whole view of this beautiful room. This feels very, very spacious. I hope the camera can actually show the size of this room. This is definitely much bigger, much more spacious than I actually anticipated it from watching other videos and or actually seeing some photos. Let me go back towards the door because I want to show you where we are located. This is our door, by the way. We are on deck number 8. And as all of the Sunset suites and rooms are, we are on the very, very back. Those unique corner designed suites are located in the very corner right here of each deck. So you basically have 2 of those on each deck. One over here and one would be over here. But let me turn you around and we will start exploring everything. First of all, because of the unique structure of this room and the way it's located, we do have those supporting poles in the middle. This particular room actually has them a little bit further away from your bed, so they're not exactly in the middle of your room, they're definitely not in your way. But as we enter, we have this entryway right here behind me, which we'll explore in a second. But first of all, we have this very nice armchair. So we have the chair, we have the ottoman right there. Right across from it, we can find the coffee table as well as the queen size sleeper sofa. I do enjoy how we have this window right here. And again, this is very large window. So in this room, because of the unique location of it, we have both a window and a balcony. Now, as many, or I think it's actually all of the suites with a retreat for celebrity, you do get this welcome bubbly right there. So you get that. And of course, across from the sofa, not exactly in front of it, but you do have TV. I would say it's about 63 inches or so. There is this mirror right there. Hi, friends. And you have your chair. I will probably use this area for me for work, editing and stuff like that. But if you would like, of course, to get ready before your night out, this is definitely the place to do that. Now, underneath the TV, we have this marble countertop that's very nice, but we also have some storage. As you can see, we have 4 drawers right there. 2 of them would be more shallow, narrow, like about so. And the ones underneath are actually much bigger and deeper. So there's plenty of storage for your personal items. Now, across from your TV and all this desk, we have the bed. So the bed, as you can see, set up right now into the king size bed, which basically means two single beds pushed together. I enjoy the accents of the X for the celebrity, the accent pillow and the runner. This is very nice. We also have nightstand here. By the way, I do enjoy the design because things are not exactly matching here, and this imperfection actually caused the space feel more kind of like home vibe. So we have first of the two nightstands right here, kind of a round nightstand. We do have two drawers, one over here, a little bit on the smaller side, and one right underneath, which will be a little bit bigger. The side lamp that we have right here does have two USB charge ports right there, so you can charge your personal items, of course, when you preparing for bedtime or during bedtime. Now, speaking about things being different and not exactly matching, on this side of the bed, we do have a different nightstand. By the way, this is the second from those two poles that we have to support this room because of the location of it. But again, so far, I don't see any real problem with that. This nightstand, as you can see, is a square one with larger two drawers. They're wider and deeper, identical in size. And of course, this is where you will also find your phone, and they give you some notes, notepad, and some pen, and stuff like that. This side also does not have the side lamp that we have on the other side. Instead, there is this decorative lamp on the wall. Again, very pretty, not something that necessarily I'm gonna miss, but just keep in mind one of the sides actually have this reading light, another one does not. I will say that this side also does not have a charging port, so whoever would like to be on that side of bed will probably, I would recommend bring some sort of a maybe battery or something like that to charge your phones. Now, next to the bed on this side, we also have this kind of small, well, I'll call it a bar area. It's kind of accent bar storage. They do have here, as you can see, this tray with some waters that they prepared, some glasses, ice bucket. On a side, we have here kind of, I would say, like a shelf for your personal stuff. For example, maybe you want to put some books or maybe your iPad or stuff like that. Right above that, we do have two doors right here. And this is where they store additional glasses or things that your butler might need, because of course those rooms come with a butler service. Right underneath the countertop, we have additional storage right here. Those two doors, basically 3 shelves right there. And next to this area, we can find behind this door your minibar. The minibar comes pre-stocked. In this case, I have 2 sparkling water, I have some still water over there, some sodas, and of course you can ask your butler to replenish it with whatever you would like, because this is part of the benefits on those suites. Now let's see where you're actually going to store your clothes and personal items in this suite. As you can see, I'm walking right now back towards the entrance. Right here you can find your main closet. We do have 3 mirrors right there, so pretty spacious to get ready if you would like to see yourself before going out. We will start with exploring behind this door, and over here we can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves right there. Some extra amenities that come, of course, with a suite. You do have a safe right there. We have a laundry bag. We have beach bag. They also provide you some umbrellas, binoculars. Yeah, everything you need for the perfect vacation. Okay, and now after you heard this doorbell, that was actually my butler who came to introduce himself. I'll show you what's behind those 2 doors. And behind those 2 doors, we do have a pre-lit area. So this is mostly for your hanging space. I do store my luggage underneath, so this is my carry-on backpack. You have 2 bathrobes. Those are a little bit different than I've used before for a retreat. Looks like newer and more plusher, I would say. Very nice, excited. You get 2 pairs of slippers down there. So yeah, this is your hanging space. And of course, if the top area is not enough, you do get this bar right there that you can drop down, and of course it increases the whole space. Now let's go ahead and explore your bathroom. I will show you again. The bathroom is a little bit tacked to the side, away from the living space. So again, this is your living space, and behind me would be the entrance door, and this is the entry to your bathroom. At the entrance to your bathroom, you also will find your thermostat right there. But let's open the bathroom and see what's inside. This is your bathroom. The bathroom is definitely not the biggest bathroom I've been on board celebrity cruise ships in a suites, but this is definitely much more spacious than a balcony bathroom. It's all covered tile and kind of like marble look, floor to ceiling. Of course, this is where you'll find your commode right there. Right next to it is where you will find your tub. The tub, I do enjoy that have this semi-glass separation right here. But it also has, of course, the curtain. You can find your towels right there. And if I turn you around, I can show you that this tub also have a rain shower, which I'm actually very, very excited about. Now, Celebrity recently kind of changed their amenities for the suites, and now we get those retreat collection. You get your shampoo, shower gel, and of course the conditioner. Across from the tub, we can find the sink area. The sink area is a single sink with a marble countertop. You have some shelving right underneath. Of course, your trash area is right there. Again, we have those upgraded amenities for the retreat, your body lotion, some shower caps. Of course, you have some cotton balls and stuff like that in those boxes. You have your, of course, bar of soap and a mirror. The mirror is kind of like, as you can see, it's three-sided. We have one in the center, one here, and one there. You can see me everywhere. But behind those doors, there's additional storage. Let me open it for you. Each side has those three storages, three shelves for you to put your personal stuff. Again, very, very nice. Not the biggest, but definitely spacious enough and very nicely designed. Now, my friends, it's time to explore probably my favorite area of every room and suite, which is the balcony. Let's walk towards the balcony. Let me open the curtains here for you. And I remind you that those rooms, those suites are located at the corners of each deck facing the back. And because of that, the shape of the balcony is a little bit different. Let me show you, and hopefully you can see everything from here. This is the balcony. It's definitely longer and a little bit wider than the normal balconies, as well as the balconies of the Sky Suites. But on this balcony, we can find a dining table, two chairs, and we also have some lounger right here with a coffee table right next to it. Very, very nicely appointed, very nicely done. The views are, of course, all open because there is nothing to obstruct your view in the back. We are still in New York, so this is what you see right there. And this is the view from this side. Really excited for all those hours I'm about to spend here. The only thing I will bring out is that, as you can see, the roof on top of you, the ceiling is not extends all the way, all the length of this balcony. So you do get a little bit more sun in this space. If this is something that might bother you, just keep it in mind. But this is very, very, very nice space. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of this beautiful room. There's, of course, a lot to love about this place. But I would like to talk, first of all, about this itinerary and why this is actually one of my favorite itineraries and in general cruises that I'm waiting for during the year. So this cruise, first of all, is to Bermuda. Many cruise lines have stops in Bermuda. Some cruise lines have it for one night. Some, some actually just stop in and going forward, as with most ports. Celebrity has this itinerary when they do actually have 2 overnight stays in Bermuda. And I will say that it actually allows you to feel such a different vibe, such a different atmosphere than any other cruise you will take. Because you do start this cruise from New York and you start with 2 days at sea. I feel that those 2 days allows you to completely enter into this cruise zone, into your basically vacation mode. Once you are there and when you're enjoying basically this off time on your vacation, you are finally approaching Bermuda. Being in Bermuda for 2 nights, in my opinion, is simply incredible because this is basically your home away from home. Call it a floating hotel. You can come and go anytime you would like. The transportation in Bermuda is very convenient. I'm sure you watched one of my other videos from a year ago when I actually explained all the tricks and ways to use transportation in Bermuda. I will not do it here, but it's very, very convenient because the ferry is right outside of the port. We're actually in the port, right outside of your cruise ship. There are buses, there are taxis, there's many, many ways to explore the place. But this is very, very convenient. You come and go as you wish. Everything is accessible. It's just a different vibe. Now, with that being said, I will mention that for those of us who do enjoy to have lunch on board, the lunch in main dining as well as the suites services, the Lumine, is basically not serviced when you are at port, which means that those 3 days when you actually are in Bermuda, the lunch will be either in the buffet or, for example, room service, or of course, if you're in a suite in a retreat, you have the special menu through your butler. So those are all options out there, but in the Lumine and main dining, they don't serve the lunch on those days. I didn't mind it much because I actually enjoyed to explore the different food offerings that the port Bermuda has to offer. It's very warm weather, especially the later you go towards June and July. So, you know, I wasn't personally looking to eat much during those days, during the day, because it's really, really warm. So I did enjoy to grab here and there, you know, light bites and stuff like that and actually save myself for the dinner. Now let's talk about really how different this is from a regular cruise. And it really, really is, because in a regular cruise, I feel that normally when you don't have those overnight stays, on a conventional cruise line, and when I say conventional, I'm talking about the major cruise lines, Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and etc. It's much many out there. There is a very kind of, I wouldn't say strict, but a very structured way for your cruise. Because normally you will have basically your, your shows, your dinner times and everything. Now, while all that does exist in this itinerary, because it's still the same cruise line and you have the shows every day, and of course you have everything else you would like, it's a little bit different on your end, us as a guest. Because a lot of the things we will experience on this vacation on a cruise is actually going out, for example, maybe for some local restaurant, or maybe for some local show, or as you know, every Wednesday in Bermuda, in Hamilton, there is this special evening when they close the main street for some kind of like market show and like their carnival and stuff like that. So the whole experience resembles more of a visit perhaps to certain itineraries, certain destination, Bermuda in this case, combined with a cruise. So you still can attend those shows, of course, on the cruise line. You can still, of course, attend those dinner times as always and everything else, but it's up to you. You don't really have to. So for those of us who not necessarily enjoy a very structured kind of way of cruising, when every day you're doing the same thing, you're going the same day, this is your chance, because you really can decide whether you would like to have the full cruise experience or you would like to have more of a city or destination experience. This is really all up to you. Now let's talk about this particular room behind me and the tour you just watched about this beautiful suite. I will say this is my very first time that I stayed in the Sky Suite, that is a Sunset Sky Suite, and especially the Corner Sun Sky Suite. There's so many words to the name of this room. I will say that on board Celebrity, perhaps so far, this is one of my favorite suites I ever stayed in. It's definitely not the most luxurious. It's definitely not the biggest out there. There are a lot of things that are kind of like contradictory. You know, some people love them, some don't. For example, I did see some comments of you guys that said that, oh my God, for me, it's not the suite because it doesn't have a walk-in shower, but instead there is a tub. I completely understand that. Some of us definitely need the accessibility and ease of use, the shower and everything. To me personally, that was not an issue. I actually enjoyed it. The bathroom is definitely not on the biggest side. I will say it's probably about the same size as in any other balcony room, or perhaps a little bit more, but not by much. The layout is definitely different because you do have the tub there and everything. It never felt cramped for me. It never felt too small, but there's no this grand feel to the bathroom in this particular suite. Instead, however, there is a very grand feel of the room itself. The room itself felt much more spacious than I actually ever watched on other videos or photos, and I'm pretty sure that even me filming this space probably didn't fully transparent or showed you the size of this room. The layout is very, very nice. It actually resembles kind of like, I would say, more of a resort, more of a hotel fancy room than a cruise ship. I actually for the first time ever really didn't have this feeling that I'm in a cabin. Maybe because there is both a window and a balcony as well. Maybe because of the layout of how the balcony is located in the corner, and you actually never see anyone out there, not above you, not below you. There's one thing, it's one of those poles right there. You see there's one of them, there's another one on the other side. And I do know that those are located slightly different. They change in depends on which deck you're on. Those are there to support, of course, the structure of the room and the ship. I will say that in this particular suite on deck number 8, they were not in my way by any means. They're here. They do not disturb me. Perhaps not the prettiest thing ever, but they're really. It's fine. It's really not in my way. So yeah, I saw some other reviews or other videos on deck 9, for example, where it was a little bit closer to the bed. I'm not sure if this is something that can be in your way or not, but in my case, it really didn't bother me. Another thing I will say, that this suite was one of the quietest rooms I ever had. Now, this is not up there on deck 12 or anything like that. This is definitely not the lowest one. This one is on deck 8. So kind of like middle, a little bit towards the low. I never heard anything from any of my sides. You literally have close to no mutual walls. Well, maybe just the one behind me with a balcony room next to me. I didn't hear anything from above. Even the announcements that been made across the ship for when they training or the drill, for example, are almost cannot be heard. Now, I do like about this room is that also when you walk to this room, yes, it's a long walk. It's at the very, very end of the corridor towards the back, but you'd still need to turn, and in my case, you were turning right, and you enter into this like square where you basically have an option to book both the sky suite as well as the balcony sunset veranda. You have a door that you can close between them, and then you created, I would say, maybe two bedroom space for those who need. Now, this made this whole entrance to this suite being very away from other rooms in the corridors. So I could never hear or bother by any noise, any sound, anything of that sort, and that was wonderful. I will recommend, though, with the layout and the curtains that they have in the room and the amount of windows they have here, because you have the huge window and you have the balcony entrance. There is some light in the room in the morning, no matter how hard you're trying to really cover it, simply because the sun escapes from above as from the sides. It's kind of expected and normal. But if you're prone to light as an early riser in the morning, I would probably recommend something, maybe an eye cover or something of that sort, because there were a few mornings when I actually didn't fully cover my windows, and I woke up around 6-7 a.m. But yeah, other than that, I really have nothing bad to say. The room was incredible, and this actually brings me to one very special thing, which is the service on this ship. So talking about the service, as you know, this is a suite, and as any suite on Celebrity, this is part of the retreat services. Now, I did experience retreats several times in my life on other cruise ships, for example, the Summit, the Constellation, which else, Reflection, and some else. I will say that the past several years, this was my best retreat experience. The retreat is there to make you feel special, and it always does. However, I feel in this particular case, this particular ship and crew really go above and beyond to make you feel special. I had a birthday during this week here. I celebrated my birthday, and I will say that other than putting a note while making this booking that it is my birthday week, I did nothing or no request or anything of that sort. The ship went above and beyond to make the celebration special. And it was really on every level, every interaction for any of the retreat crew, the concierges, my butler, not to mention that, the room attendant. It is just incredible. I will say that everybody remembers everyone by name. Everybody remembers what you like or don't like. And this is not only with me. I could see that clearly with other families who have actually been in the retreat lounge. And this whole personal vibe of remembering everybody by names or remember everybody's liking or disliking the dining service, it was just simply incredible. On my Facebook page, you probably saw all those pictures of what incredible surprises they did for my birthday. The room was full of balloons, some incredible gifts that they put here. They did actually make the effort of making photos of themselves decorating the room and putting this as a sticker and celebration greetings on the walls. My friends, those are not exactly things that you can buy or anything of that sort, but those are memories to last forever. And this experience was such personal, was such warming, that really I can't really describe or say if there's any really better way to celebrate. So Silhouette definitely has incredible crew, at least in the retreat, that will make you feel special on your vacation, and especially if you have any celebration. Now, talking about special, let's talk about the retreat itself and what benefits you actually get, and I'll give you a few tricks and tips how to use it, because it did take me some time to get it myself. There are many benefits for staying in the retreat, and the retreat, again, as you know, is any suite on board the vessel on Celebrity. But the main things that personally for me actually making the whole change and affect my vacation are probably, first of all, having the retreat lounge. Now, talking about the retreat lounge, I will say on a personal note that I know that the retreat lounge used to be what we all know the Michael's Club on those ships. And I was kind of a little bit sad that the Michael's Club is being renovated into the retreat lounge, and it's rebranded, and we're losing, that's how I felt, we're losing this old school dark wood gentleman's club vibe space, and we changing it for something more modern. This is at least was my concern, how I felt about it. But I will say, the moment I'm board the ship and the second I enter the retreat lounge, I actually realized how wrong I was. Because the space now perhaps doesn't look the same way as it used, of course, with the dark wood and all, but it feels much more spacious. It feels much more open. The luxury feeling was never lost by making this renovation, to my taste. I think it's definitely different than what Michael's Club used to be, but also so is the product and the company itself. We're going forward, the company is growing, and this is something that the company just offers now. Who knows, maybe there will be in the future additional changes that will bring some other vibes. But as of right now, I really, really enjoyed the new decor, the new design of the lounge. I never was lacking of any space in there. That I will say that sometimes in the Michael's Club, it did happen. It just felt overcrowded sometimes. It felt too many people, so it actually kept me away from there because of that. But this space is actually laid out much smarter, in my opinion. There is much more sitting space. There is always events going on, so this was very great. One thing I will say, and this is kind of like on a personal note to Celebrity as a company, I did notice that the concierges now have to stand all their shifts at the entrance. There is no seat. And while maybe this is normal in the industry, I think that when they were able to sit and actually have their own desk back in the day in the Michael's Club, that was kind of like more comfortable. I'm a strong believer that happy crew makes us all happy cruisers. So dear Celebrity, please provide a chair for those concierge people. That would be nice. It's kind of like feels bad to see them always standing. But other than that, the crew was incredible. The service was incredible. The offerings in the retreat lounge are wonderful. I did enjoy every day there was kind of like afternoon tea service. It's not exactly afternoon tea, by all the code and everything like the British way. But there's offerings of small sandwiches, kind of like, the cucumber sandwiches and the scones and stuff like that. And of course, there's always variety and selection of teas. So this is happening every day. I think it's from 3:30 to 4:30 or so. And then of course this slowly changes into kind of like afternoon bites or evening bites, which is a little bit smaller for your pre-dinner with drinks and stuff like that. So this is an incredible space for you to just, escape the crowds, escape other spaces or areas that perhaps will be a little bit busier. So I really enjoy that as part of the benefits or retreats offers. Another benefit of staying in the retreat is, of course, the butler service. And my friends, who doesn't enjoy or wouldn't like to have a butler for their vacation? This time, Clinton was my butler, and I will say that he was simply incredible. From decorating this whole room and making this birthday special to everything you ever would like to have. The service now, 2025, is a little bit different. You don't have to be in your room, for example, to contact your butler. You can actually use WhatsApp and text your butler. That brings me to a few tips for you how to use your butler better or actually enjoy their services better. For example, for me, sometimes you're returning back later in the evening or at night, and you just, you miss the dinner time, and you're not sure if you want to wait for your room service or stuff like that. You can always text your butler, even if you're out of the ship, and ask them, hey, can you please make sure that in a certain time I will have some snacks or something when I'm coming back? They will definitely do it for you. If you have any questions, if you have any requests, if you have any something you would like to know on the ship, or for something to be done for you, or even things I personally didn't use it, but they can set up a very nice tub for you, or they can for example, pack and unpack your luggage if this is your thing. So there's a lot of things you can do with the butler services. This actually elevates your whole vacation. Now, I will say also that another great thing is that you can always text your butler in the morning from when you are even still in bed and ask them for your coffee or your breakfast preferences, anything you would like to have. Don't forget to use their service, because I promise those definitely elevate your whole experience of this vacation, makes you feel special. The butler will be also the person to coordinate everyone for you, which would be your room attendant, for example, which in my case was Jose, and I will say Jose does really deserve a big shout out for his service and his dedication. It was probably one of the most dedicated employees I ever met on Celebrity, just no words. But your butler will coordinate for you all those people to make sure that whatever requests you have or whatever needs you have are met. The butler is the one to know who actually takes care of what. So if you need, for example, something that has only been taken care of by the front desk, they will definitely do that. If you need something housekeeping, he will make sure that your housekeeper actually knows about it and does everything for you. So definitely utilize your butlers. They're there to make you feel special. Don't forget to text them, even if you want just to thank them or things like that. It's definitely there for you to use. So my friends, to sum it up, I know this video didn't talk much about specifically Silhouette as a cruise ship or entertainment or something like that. I wanted to express with you my feeling this week about the retreat experience, this suite experience. And for me, this was probably one of the better vacations I ever had. And I cruise almost every week, so this becomes to me, and it is for me, basically my main job. This time I really felt on a vacation. I feel like the crew here is really dedicated to make you feel special. I feel that this particular suite category, for me personally, one of the favorite categories and favorite rooms I've ever been in, and I really will try to do it again in the future. So, saying all that, I will say that I will highly recommend Celebrity Silhouette for your next vacation. If you definitely can do that, I will definitely recommend you to do it in a retreat. Doesn't really matter which room, but if you can choose one of those sunset corner verandas, I'm sure you will not be disappointed. But yes, I can highly recommend this vacation, this itinerary. I can't wait for next year. I will definitely try to book it again just to experience it, perhaps bring some friends with me and my loved ones just to share an experience the great things that both celebrity and Bermuda can offer. If you have, of course, any questions, comments, please don't forget to do that below. Don't forget to subscribe and share my videos so I can, as always, keep doing what I like to do most. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for giving your time for my videos. Until next time, I'm your Hedge.